Toward the beginning of the film, a lot of teenagers have gotten together to partake in a gaming competition where the victor takes 10 grand. The main goal of the game is to kill different players and get however many points as you can. After the game starts, two players begin killing the wide range of various players individually, consequently piling up a great deal of points. One of them is an escape-buying beginner girl, while the other one is a master pro who has won a few honors in the realm of gaming. As the group gives a shout-out to, the veteran purposes his experience and starts to lead the pack. In any case, the beginner young lady actually has a secret weapon. She whips out a bottle of energy drink called the Impulse 9 and drinks it one go, which gives her energy, yet additionally slow down the time by multiple times. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson attempted to inspire them to drink Zoe all things considered, however they rejected. With this power, she kills every one of the players she came across, including the veteran. The young lady in the long run wins the competition and starts celebrating with her sweetheart, yet much to her dismay that her energy is going to be removed in the most potential fierce manner. The energy drink's bottle tumbles to the ground and breaks, making the young lady snap back to the real world. What's more, when she does, she winds up as a grown-up with 3 kids. Zoe wouldn't do that to you. To exacerbate the situation, she is residing in a frail house with no power and modern gadgets. Outside, the world has transformed into a fruitless wasteland, and even the oxygen has become noxious to breathe. Following this, we rewind a couple of days before the competition occurred with the presentation of the young lady, Val Hernandez. She is a reckless, remarkable new FPS gamer whose main dream in life is to go proficient and earn enough to pay the bills out of it. It is 2017, and Val lives with her divorced father, Carlos. At some point, he sets up Val for a prospective employee meeting at a coffee shop, and she hesitantly goes out in proper clothing outside. Her sweetheart Evan comes to get her in his vehicle. After they leave, Val rapidly changes her dress toward the back. It just so happens, she's dumping her meeting and is going to a competition of a game called Field of Fire. Very much like the majority of the FPS Battle Royale games out there, Field of Fire is a multiplayer game where the principal objective is to be the sole survivor. That's what Val figures, assuming she wins in front of the pack, she can make a lot of cash and fabricate herself a gaming PC. In any case, Evan pops her air pocket by uncovering that an old pro gamer named Roy will make an unexpected appearance in the competition. Before long, the two show up at the field for the opposition and see Roy taking pictures with his fans. Before the main match starts, Evan reminds his sweetheart that she shouldn't go overboard and simply sent her around meeting all requirements for the finals. Notwithstanding, Val has her sights set on beating the presumptuous Roy. Inevitably, every one of the players gets situated on their PCs and the game begins. Val takes an early lead, yet Roy makes up for lost time to her effortlessly. He even communicates with the group in the game, such is his certainty. Exploiting this, Val racks a few points and is very nearly winning. In any case, rather than completing the game, she chooses to go for the brilliance kill. The arrangement rapidly misfires and Roy disposes of her in a matter of seconds. Notwithstanding this, Val qualifies for the finals happening the following day. As the lovers leaves the field, Roy emerges and derides Val prior to continuing to take more selfies with his fans. And keeping in mind that Evan is away to get the car, a man named Kojima comes up to Val and uncovers that he knows the key to winning. "Simply leave Konami and begin your own studio," he says. Val is confused by the bizarre comments, but before she can say anything, Kojima gives her his business card and departs. At the point when Val arrives at home, she makes an honest effort to not make any clamor, however is found in the act by her dad. Left with no decision, she comes clean with him about where she was during the day, which rankles Carlos much more. He then, at that point, orders her to go to the diner the following day and ask for a new employee screening. In any case, Val states that the competition likewise happens the following day, which is more significant for her future. Furthermore, very much like some other parent, Carlos attempts to cause her to comprehend that web-based gaming has no future. Be that as it may, the obstinate Val disregards him and tempests off to her room. Not long after, she watches a digital broadcast about the game prior in the day and lashes out that Roy took the principal position. All at once, she sees Kojima's business card and recalls that him discussing the key to winning. Consequently, powered with retribution and the longing to win, she chooses to visit the given location. Before long she arrives at the Golden Saucer, which ends up being a gaming cafe. Inside, several individuals are playing computer games on their PCs and control center. Before long, Kojima approaches her and trains her to plunk down and play a game. Val is as yet confounded concerning why Kojima had given her the business card, yet nonetheless, She tries the game out. She wrenches up the game to the most elevated trouble and experiences difficulty finishing the level. Seeing this, Kojima gives her an energy drink called Impulse 9. In any case, he tells her that it is no customary energy drink. Inquisitive, Val takes a little taste of the beverage and out of nowhere, all that she sees begins to move in slow motion. Thus, the game, which was difficult to play some time back, has now become incredibly simple for her. Abruptly, in a matter of seconds, Val awakens and ends up sitting across the table from Kojima. At the point when she asks with regards to what occurred, he makes sense of that Impulse 9 stretches time for whoever drinks it and that it has been an hour since Val had tasted the beverage. He likewise uncovers that how much time extended relies upon the amount of admission of the energy drink. Following this, Kojima requests $500 for one bottle, which shocks Val. She begins imagining that utilizing the beverage to contend in competitions may swindle. In any case, all of a sudden, Kojima gets a call from Roy and it's uncovered that he likewise utilizes Impulse 9 to dominate matches. Therefore he has been marked phenomenal by other individual gamers and savants. Subsequent to learning of this, Val ultimately chooses to purchase the bottle of Impulse 9. The following day at the field, Val takes out the bottle of Impulse 9 and puts it by her console. Not long before the game beginnings, she takes a little taste of the energy drink. Then, at that point, utilizing the ultra slow motion, she overwhelms the list of competitors for some time. Seeing this, Roy additionally drinks a few Impulse 9 and starts climbing the positions, at last arriving at the top. This makes Val frantic, so she drinks the whole container of the energy drink, no matter what the result. Therefore, time for Val moves at a very more slow speed and she utilizes that for her full potential benefit. In the long run, she kills Roy's avatar and wins the entire competition. The group goes wild and everybody roots for her, as well as Evan. As 2 or 3 kisses, the energy bottle tumbles to the ground and breaks. Out of nowhere, Val snaps back to the real world and winds up sitting on a seat in a weather-beaten house. She is holding a child, and not long after, Evan comes into the room wearing torn and foul garments. He makes it lights out time for the child and advises Val to prepare. Val is really befuddled and begins to hyperventilate. Subsequent to seeing her completely developed grown-up body and a wedding ring on her hand, she runs down the stairs for some respite, but regrettably, 2 different kids call her mom. Unexpectedly, Val hurls in shock and runs outside the house. She finds the area in complete disorder as individuals live serious with public washrooms out in the open. Here it's at last uncovered that Val has gone to the year 2029, having skirted 10 years of her life in a moment. Besides, the town where they live is encased by huge walls, what isolates it from the no-man's land that encompasses it. In the no-man's land, hazardous animals, the demise reptiles live that are famous for going after people. Along these lines, the inhabitants of the town watch the door consistently in shifts. Besides, it just so happens, individuals who had tipsy an enormous amount of Impulse 9 in the past are just awakening now. They're called pulsars. This brought about individuals snapping back to reality numerous years into the future, without any recollections at all, causing destruction and turmoil from one side of the world to the other. In any case, there is no precise approach to knowing whether one is a pulsar except if they snap back to the ongoing time. Besides, since the end times was brought about by the pulsars, the vast majority scorn them and seldom permit them to. Inside the well-being of the walls, it turns out the town sheriff and representative are Val and a man named Dan. To try not to wind up like the pulsar, Val conceals away that she also had consumed Impulse 9. Later at home, Val attempts to sort out what's going on. She then, at that point, remembers her dad, Carlos, and endeavors to recall her last gathering with him. Be that as it may, when she turns her head, Val sees an urn with her dad's remains on the mantel. This wrecks her and she begins crying lavishly. Not long after, Representative Dan calls Val down for a toilet obligation. She at first declines. However, Dan advises her that she is a disinfection chief and needs to accomplish the work. Subsequently, she's compelled to clean the grimy restrooms for a few hours. Kids, see what happens when you don't go for work interviews? Many days pass and Val begins getting familiar with the methods of the whole world-destroying area. At some point, she does each and every undertaking, including monitor obligation. Searching the toilet obligation, she gets the children from school, where her little girl Sophia gives her a drawing of her, saying that she is her hero. In any case, Val is very depleted and she doesn't see the value in the young lady's endeavors. Kid, I don't have any idea what your identity is. At the point when she arrives at the house, she finds Evan accelerating a bike to control up a game control center as power isn't accessible. Incredibly, the game is really her #1 game, Field of Fire. Val is excessively invigorated by this and consents to play one round prior to making it lights out time for the children. After Evan goes out to a party, Val and the children begin to game into the evening. Hours pass by and unexpectedly Evan surges inside. Obviously he is unnerved and informs Val that she has missed her gatekeeper obligation shift. Accordingly, Dan, who was pounding on the entryway to be allowed in, was killed by the death lizards. Wasting no time, the two race to the scene where Dan's damaged spouse is enraged with Val. Loaded up with responsibility, Val attempts to return home, yet Evan says that she actually needs to complete her gatekeeper shift. Hesitantly, she obliges. After her shift closes, Val gets back with anguishing torment. She communicates her sentiments towards Evan, who comforts and consoles her prior to hitting the hay. Thinking she is not welcome in the new world, Val chooses to abandon all that and travel the Badlands. Subsequently, she composes Evan a letter conceding that she is really a pulsar. The next morning, Val exits her neighborhood with the goal of never returning. While Evan peruses the letter and is in finished mistrust. In the following scene, Val keeps on strolling the fruitless land and before long runs over a neglected structure. Incidentally, the flimsy structure is really Kojima's cafe, the Golden Saucer. Val reluctantly enters the gaming cafe and searches for a bit. To her shock, Kojima jumps out of the counter. Notwithstanding, she feels as though something is off. She understands that Kojima hasn't matured a day, yet he doesn't make sense of how. As the two visit, Kojima figures out that Val had quite recently snapped back 7 days prior, and he concedes that a great deal of lives were destroyed in light of the Impulse 9 drink. Notwithstanding, he has an arrangement to free her of all the enduring she has been looking lately. Kojima draws out a huge bottle of Impulse 9 and advises her to drink it, and in the event that she does, she won't ever snap once more into this world. This is on the grounds that she will travel many years later and at that point she will currently be dead. Why not simply feed herself to the death lizards? Kojima likewise recommends she play her #1 game while proceeding with it. Val likes the thought and chooses to plunk down to play Field of Fire, however when she inclines forward to take the Impulse 9 bottle, she finds the drawing that her little girl made for herself and becomes close to home. Val then goes on an outing through a world of fond memories and recalls every one of the great times she had with her kids and Evan. Accordingly, she nullifies her arrangement to polish off the energy drink and on second thought goes to the local area to rejoin with her loved ones. At the entryway, an irate Evan is alert obligation and he will not give his wife access as she deceived everybody's trust. Val apologizes for all that and vows to begin once again and to make things right. Out of nowhere, they too hear gunshots from afar and understand that it is the death lizards moving toward their local area. It's then, at that point, uncovered that the death lizards region gathering of ordinary individuals who are man-eaters and chase on others in the no man's land. So Evan allows Val in and the cautions to go off, sending everybody into a condition of frenzy. One lady lets Val know that everybody is going to the gorge as no one is ready to fight off the aggressors. Hearing this, a thought strikes her brain. Since everybody locally feels double-crossed by her, she intends to acquire their trust. Consequently, she lets her husband know that she will remain back and holding off the gate crashers however long she can. Evan is miserable to leave without her, however when Val advises him to go for their youngsters, he obliges. Not long after, Val whips out the huge Impulse 9 bottle from prior and prepares for the fight to come. The death lizards likewise clear their path through the entryway, prepared to unleash destruction. It's then uncovered that the head of the death lizards is, as a matter of fact, Roy himself. The two quickly recognize one another, and Roy uncovers that he snapped once more into reality a couple of years back, and presently he is turned into a savage chief who can kill anybody he wants. Be that as it may, notwithstanding his aggressive statement, Val is courageous. Incidentally, she is now down to the energy drink before they showed up, which becomes obvious when she throws the empty container towards Roy. Out of nowhere, Val goes into slow movement and starts shooting at one of the gas canisters, sending the aggressors flying. A fierce shootout follows, and Val figures out how to take out practically every one of them. Sadly, she was shot in the stomach and shoulder prior to tumbling to the ground. Out of nowhere, Roy emerges and he shoots a shot at Val, yet misses. Making the most of the mistake, she shoots back and effectively kills Roy. Following this, she shoots a flare with her final strength, indicating to Evan that the local area has been saved. The film closes as Evan sees the dazzling red flare while Val gradually kicks the bucket,